In the public health insurance, you have to wait weeks or sometimes even months to get a doctor's appointment. In the private health insurance, you can get a doctor's appointment the next day if you want. But in private, you have to pay for kids extra, while they are insured in public for free. And of course, you can never get out of private health insurance once you're in. Some of what I just said is true, and some is just straight up bullshit that you guys wrote in our comment section. Which makes me wonder, what is really true here? And what is better for you, public or private health insurance, if you would choose based on facts? Which you can do right after watching this video, because we will discuss the pros and cons of both health insurance systems, so you can make the decision that is right for you. All in this PerFinEx health insurance video. The public health insurance here in Germany is based on solidarity. That means everyone gets the exact same coverage no matter how much you pay. And what you do pay is based on your income. As of this year, you pay 14.6% of your salary for health insurance, and on top of that, there's an additional contribution. Don't ask me what that is for, because it gives you zero value. Public health insurance is just charged this because they're strapped for cash. The additional contribution ranges this year from 0.9% all the way up to 2.7%. And that is actually the only improvement that you can make if you want to stay in the public health insurance, switching from an expensive health insurance to a cheaper one. The average additional contribution this year is 1.7%, so this is what we calculated with. And on top of that is the care insurance, which is another 4% if you don't have kids and 3.4% if you do have kids, bringing us to 20.3% of your salary for public health insurance. You pay 50% and your employer pays 50% of that. The good news is that not all your salary is subject to public health insurance, but only 62,100 euro, the gray line. And if you want to switch to the private health insurance, you need a salary of at least 69,300 euro, the blue line. And both those lines also show that, despite popular belief, public health insurance costs do in fact rise. But we'll come to that later on. Clients have usually one of two motivations to switch to the private health insurance. One is because they pay less, which we'll come to in a moment, and the other is because they actually get to use their health insurance whenever they want. Have you tried getting an appointment for the house doctor or general practitioner? That may be possible within a couple of weeks. But have you ever tried to get an appointment with a specialist? Because that usually takes months for people in the public health insurance. Why? Because there's a certain amount of patients doctors can see every quarter. And that number of patients is given by the government. For that number of patients, the doctor will get paid. If he exceeds that number and sees more patients, he will get paid less and less for every single patient. And that's why if you call the doctor as a public patient in the middle of the quarter and the quota is exceeded already, he will make you wait until the next quarter so he gets paid the full amount again. Privately insured people do not fall in this quota. The doctor always gets paid the full amount, and that's why we can get appointments with any doctor that we want almost any time we want. And now you might scream and shout and hate the doctors because they're greedy, or the private patients because they get better coverage. But when it comes to my understanding, the only responsible party here is the government with its stupid quota. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And depending on the exact private health insurance plan you have, you can even go to any specialist directly without going to the general practitioner first. So if you earn more than 69,300 euro salary or are self-employed, you can book a free meeting with us right here, and then we can see which private health insurance plan here in Germany is the best for you. And in private, you don't just get doctor appointments whenever you want, but you also get the exact coverage you want for the rest of your life, guaranteed. A private health insurance is a private contract with a private insurance company. And one side cannot change contract conditions here in Germany without the other side agreeing to it. And that security, when it comes to coverage, was one of the most important factors for me when I switched to the private health insurance, because my health is very important to me. In public, that is different. The public health insurance has the so-called catalog of coverage that was lowered and lowered over the years and decades. They cut coverage for glasses, introduced new co-payments, cut the percentage for dental replacements, and now they apparently talk about getting rid of the entire dental coverage for public patients completely. Nobody knows what the public health insurance will cover 10 or 20 years from now. And that's just too much of a risk for me personally, because I want to stay healthy as long as possible. Let's talk about some positives of the public health insurance. If you work, you pay up to 1,050 euros a month for public health insurance, split 50-50 with your employer. We talked about that earlier. If you have a spouse and kids, and all of them have zero income on their own, they might be insured for free with you. You can request that with your public health insurance, and if your spouse and kids really have no income at all, your chances are pretty good. If they have income on their own, so if both adults are working, for example, everyone is insured in public on their own, so they both pay maximum 1,050 euros a month. That is the undeniable benefit of the public health insurance, because in private, everyone is insured on their own with their own premium. Now, kids are usually 100 to 150 euros a month in private, and you also get the 50% benefit from your employer for that. We talked about this in the health insurance for parents video, but still, the public health insurance is better here. Not from a coverage perspective, of course, but cheaper. Speaking about cheaper, this is usually the second motivation why a client switch from public to private health insurance, because paying 1,050 euros a month for one-star coverage of the public health insurance is not exactly a great deal, is it? And just so you know how great the savings can be, here's a screenshot of our private health insurance calculator. A 30-year-old pays as little as 425 euros a month for a private health insurance with 3-star coverage. So 212 for him and 212 for his employer. And even if this 30-year-old chooses 5-star coverage, the best coverage in Germany, he pays 534 euros together with his employer, so basically half of what he's paying for 1-star public health insurance right now. That's for a 30-year-old, you might say. And private health insurance gets crazy expensive when you get old, you might say. We'll come to that later on, but a 40-year-old will pay as little as 511 euro for 3-star coverage, and even a 50-year-old will pay 200 euro less for 5-star coverage as he does for 1-star public health insurance. If you earn more than the 69,300 euros a year, public health insurance is ripping you off so much, it's unbelievable. And please keep in mind that we are talking about entry age here. If you start in private health insurance with 30, you will pay a lot less when you're 40 or 50 than you're seeing here on screen. And if you want it even cheaper, you get a plan with a co-payment, like I have myself. Then a 50-year-old, 50 years, will pay 500 euros a month for a 4-star insurance, not even half of what he pays for public health insurance. Yes, there's a 1,000 euro a year co-payment, but that's just 80 euros a month. Nothing compared to what a 50-year-old is saving by switching to the private health insurance. And you can see something else exciting in this screenshot. With some insurance companies, a 4-star plan is cheaper than a 3-star plan with another insurance company. And that's why it's so important to choose a good insurance company and a good insurance plan in the first place. And if we can help you with that, then you can book a free meeting with us with the link in the description. You get these prices we just saw if you're healthy or if you have a little medical history with nothing major. And that's another big benefit of the public health insurance again, that they ask no health questions at all when you apply. Completely different in the private health insurance because each insurance has a questionnaire. They might even send you to the doctor and to the dentist. And if they don't like what they see, they make you pay more, a risk surcharge, or they decline your application completely. We have the so-called freedom of contracts here in Germany, so nobody can force you to make a contract you don't want to do, and you cannot force a private company to do business with you if they don't want to do it. Usually, we find a good solution for clients, but not for everyone, unfortunately. And there are also no questions asked when you switch from one public insurance company to another public insurance company. Makes sense, right? Because I just told you that public health insurance doesn't ask any questions. But the point is, private does. And that's why it is so important to choose a really good private health insurance company in the first place, because switching to a different private health insurance company will involve new health questions again. Switching from one plan to another plan within the same private health insurance company is quite easy, but switching from company A to company B might be not. Now let's come to my 3 favorite types of comments you guys write below our videos. The first one is, in private, I have to pay for the doctor myself first, and the insurance pays me later on. Kind of true, but you're missing the point why that is highly beneficial for you. When you go to the doctor, you get the invoice sent to your home. So far, so true. Now, you have usually 30 days to pay that invoice, just like with any other invoice here in Germany. And when you send that invoice to your insurance, mostly by making a photo with the app, you should have the money on your bank account within a week. So way before you have to pay the doctor. Why is it beneficial that you get sent the invoice to your home instead of the insurance company paying for you? Because if you're the best customer in the world, you pay your monthly premium and you pay for invoices yourself, you will receive a cashback. And this cashback can be as high as 45%. 45%! Do you realize how much money that is? Earlier we had like 600 euros a month for a really good private health insurance, so 400 euro cheaper than public. And if you get 45% cashback, that means you get more than 3,000 euros a year in cashback, because the employee and employer part is subject to cashback. So if we deduct the 50% employer share and the 45% cashback from what you pay per month, you could have one of the best private health insurance plans in Germany for as little as 30 euros a month. 300 euros a month times 12 is what you pay after your employer share. You get 45% cashback, which is 3,240 euros, 45% of your entire annual premium. So that leaves you with 30 euros a month. If that's not a great deal to go from 1,050 to 30 euros, I don't know what is. My second out of the 3 favorite types of comments that you guys write is, private health insurance will get insanely expensive when you get old. We did a deep dive and compared public health insurance with private health insurance premiums in retirement in this video if you're interested. So just in short here, only true under one assumption. The average man gets 1,700 euros a month from the German public pension and the average woman 1,300 euro. Both gross before tax and health insurance. Now if that is your only source of income in retirement and you have to pay a couple of hundred euros for your private health insurance, you're You will probably be either way with 1,700 euros per month gross income, but in private, you're even more. So learning 1, if you plan on being poor in retirement, don't switch to the private health insurance. And learning 2, private health insurances save at least 10% of your monthly premium for retirement, so-called seniority savings. And here's how much that is for all privately insured people. Over 335 billion euros. You pay these 10% extra in seniority savings until age 60, and then your private health insurance gets 10% cheaper. And when you retire with 67, your private health insurance gets cheaper again because you don't pay for sick leave anymore. And all the money you saved up in retirement savings will be used to make your private health insurance premium as cheap as possible for the rest of your life. And last but certainly not least, my favorite comment from you guys: Once you're in private insurance, you can never go back to public again. I'd love to know where you guys get your information from. Seriously, because this is as wrong as it gets. The only thing true about this is that you can't switch back and forth between both systems whenever you feel like it. But when you're eligible, of course you can switch back to public. Probably the most common case we have among clients and the most asked question is what happens when you get unemployed. And in this case, Job Center will force you back in public if you want it or not, because Job Center will not pay for your private health insurance. What did we learn in this video? The decision if public or private insurance is better for you could be one of the most important decisions of your entire life. At least if you agree with me that your health is one of the most important assets that you have. Public is better for the average German who earns a salary of 4,300 euros a month, because he doesn't pay that much for public health insurance anyway, and he has no other choice anyway, because 4,300 euros a month is not enough to switch to the private health insurance. You need 5,775 euros gross. If you earn that much, you pay, let's be honest with each other here, a of money, more than 1,000 euros together with your employer for really low coverage. The price to coverage ratio just doesn't work out if you're a high earner. And if you plan to be a high earner also in retirement, which you should, or you plan on retiring back in your home country, which you could, then private health insurance can be absolutely awesome. You just gotta choose the right plan out of the more than 200 different private plans available here in Germany. And if we can help you with that, you can book a free meeting with us with the card that you see here on screen.